A pair of small feet as fair as jade. Yet now it stomps on the side of my face. Good morning, long time no see. The voice from above was lazy and teasing, with a hint of cruel delight akin to a cat toying with a mouse. My whole body is stiff. The heart felt as if it were being tightly clenched. Even without looking up, I knew who it was. After sneaking into the top boss's villa, I became his plaything. Lu Ruyan, my immediate superior. Billionaire heiress and CEO. It was also 3 years ago that I publicly scolded her for being shameless. The woman who tore up her check. And now, I crouch in the walk-in closet of her villa, clutching the stolen necklace. She was caught right on the spot. She stepped on my cheek with her bare foot. The force was not great, yet it shattered all my disguises. Why aren't you saying anything? Where has the handsome heartthrob from Tsinghua University gone? Speak. She chuckled, her voice tinged with frost. My cheeks stung with pain, and my throat was filled with the metallic taste of despair. Mr. Liu, I was wrong. The voice is extremely hoarse. Grandpa is in the ICU with a daily bill of 20,000 yuan. Driven to the wall. I thought about being caught, but I never imagined the homeowner was her. Lu Ruyan sneered as she pulled her foot back. The eyes are filled with boredom. He walked over to the sofa and sat down. Poured a glass of red wine. The burgundy bathrobe's collar is slightly open. Snow-white skin glistens under the light. It stung so much that I dared not look any longer. You should understand, he was swirling his wine glass. This matter got out. Or let your grandfather know. Can his body, just out of surgery, withstand it? No. I dropped to my knees abruptly. Crawling forward 2 steps, she grabbed his trouser leg. Voice trembling. Please, don't tell him. I'll accept it even if you call the police or have me jailed. My grandfather can't handle any shocks. His fingers brushed through my hair. Only playfulness in the eyes. In the early morning, you're like this now. What difference is there from a dog? This sentence shattered the last bit of my self-respect. Back then, for my girlfriend, Su Wanwan. He tore up her sugar daddy contract in front of everyone, calling her vulgar. Now, reality has ground my pride to dust. Do you want me to let you go? Lu Ruyan's sarcasm was unmistakable. Yes. I kowtowed repeatedly. As long as you're willing to let me go, I'll do anything you ask. I'll serve you faithfully like a horse or an ox. Lu Ruyan laughed out loud, suddenly leaned forward and poured the entire wine all over. The foot that just stepped on my face. The red wine trickled down her fair foot. Dripping onto the carpet, it was eerily striking and eye-catching. She lifted her foot and raised my chin. Her eyes were seductive as silk, yet her voice was chillingly cold. If you want to show your loyalty, drink it all clean. Not a drop left. The overwhelming sense of humiliation made my whole body tremble. Nails dug into my palm, drawing blood, but I refused to give in. She took out her phone. Then I will call the police station, and then call the hospital. Let your grandpa listen. No, I will drink. I held her hand down. Tears fell onto the top of her foot. Dignity is worthless compared to grandpa's life. I lowered my head trembling. Swallow both the red wine and the humiliation down. Be good and lick every bit clean, even between your toes. Her tone was like scolding a pet. I held back the disgust and hatred. Lick it clean bit by bit. My mouth was filled with the astringent taste of red wine and the warmth of her body. Is it okay now, President Liu? I slumped to the ground, unable to look at her. She suddenly placed her feet on my shoulders. She held my head, forcing me to look upward. His eyes were filled with contempt and madness. You think you can just leave at this hour? Don't you understand what I want? I do. What she never wanted was an apology. It was revenge. It's repaying me double the humiliation from back then. Betrayal and backlash. Boss Liu, I struggled to start speaking. Making the last struggle. I have a girlfriend, and I love her very much. Please change the condition. Su Wanwan's innocent face surfaced in my mind. Thinking back to the days when we shared a single bowl of instant noodles in that rented room. My heart aches with worry. The smile instantly vanished from Lu Ruyan's face. His gaze was dark and menacing, as if having heard something filthy. Girlfriend? It's fine. I really like mature women. She turned around and pulled open the drawer. A black leather collar was thrown onto the carpet. Emitted a dull sound. Take it with her to take a shower. She spoke in an icy tone. My patience is wearing thin in the early hours. Want to chat with me? I'll cover all your grandfather's medical expenses from now on. Otherwise, you know the consequences. On one side is Grandpa's life. Loyalty to the girlfriend. 5 seconds later, I quietly picked up the collar. The sound of water in the bathroom was gushing loudly. Yet it cannot wash away the slightest trace of shame upon the body. That night, I felt as though I were in hell. What Lu Ruyin has never sought is the release of desire, but conquest, complete and total destruction and reconstruction. He holds a little leather whip. Each lash on the body wasn't too painful, but that sense of shame was seared into my heart like a branding iron. He forced me to call him master. In front of the huge floor-to-ceiling window, the wind is howling and the rain is pouring down outside the window. Only absurdity and debauchery remained inside the window. At 1 o'clock in the morning, everything finally came to an end. Lu Ruyin was like a contented cat. Curl up under the covers and fall asleep. I ache all over. The collar around the neck made it hard to breathe, yet dare not pluck it. By the dim light of the bedside lamp, I open my phone. 1:15 a.m. The pin chat is Wan, my wife. Her last message from yesterday afternoon is still there, but I know I'm already on the brink of exploding. Since you've seen it, let me be straightforward then. Su Wan simply stopped pretending. She wrapped the blanket around herself. With a look of disgust. Let's break up before dawn. Take a look at yourself from head to toe. Less than 200 yuan in total. Following a poor devil like you. When will I be able to live a good life? Brother Wang has already agreed to promote me to team leader. They also bought me the latest Hermes for me. What about you? All you do is give me empty promises. What else can you do? The more she spoke, the more justified she felt. Wang Chong also snapped back to reality, relying on being my boss. Pointed at my nose and yelled, "What are you looking at? Get out of here now. Go back to the office tomorrow to pack up your things and get out. You're fired." I look at these two. The naked, ugly creature. The anger in my heart completely exploded. I picked up the broom by the door. That folding iron stool, usually used for fixing light bulbs. The eyes are lifeless, like a stagnant pool of water. But you should never have insulted my grandfather. I locked the bedroom door behind me. What are you doing in the middle of the night? Don't do anything reckless. Killing someone is against the law. Wang Chong finally panicked. My voice is trembling. I won't kill anyone. I lifted the iron stool. The corners of the mouth curled into a cruel smile. I'm just teaching you how to behave. 10 minutes later, I threw down the iron stool stained with blood, looking at the bruised and swollen face. Wang Chong, kneeling on the ground, wept bitterly and begged for mercy, and huddled in the corner, trembling uncontrollably. With her makeup smeared by tears, Su Wan. There is not a hint of pleasure in my heart. Only endless emptiness remains. From now on we are even. Don't let me see you again. I coldly left a single sentence behind, turned and walked out of this place. The place I once considered home. The sunlight outside is dazzling. I just feel a chill running through my body. Betrayal and backlash. I recall the mocking look in Lu Ruyin's eyes last night. And there's her line. Can your deep affection yield good returns? It turned out she was right. In this world, the affection of the poor is more worthless than grass. I walked out of the residential complex, utterly disheartened. The phone suddenly vibrated. It was a call from the hospital. The heart suddenly tightened. Did something happen to Grandpa? Hello, is this Mr. Lingchen? There's a bit of a situation with your grandpa on your father's side. Please come here immediately. I rushed to the hospital like a madman. Straight to the ordinary ward where Grandpa used to be. The bed, however, was empty. Nurse, where is my grandfather? Where is the patient in bed 36? I grabbed the nurse's arm, my voice trembling. Mr. Lin, your grandfather has been transferred to the VIP special care unit on the top floor. The nurse's words left me stunned. Ran to the top floor and pushed open the ward door. Grandfather lies peacefully in the spacious hospital bed. Next to it is the most advanced imported equipment. While conducting his examination, he is actually a leading authority in the field of cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases in China. That old immortal who just can't get an appointment. Are you a family member? The old professor glanced at me. Don't worry, the surgery has been scheduled. I'm about 90% sure. This is all thanks to Miss Liu. If it weren't for her sending a private plane to pick me up, I can't make it over yet. Miss Liu, Lu Ruyin. Leaning against the doorframe, my legs gave way, nearly causing me to fall to my knees. The demon from last night, who poured red wine on their foot and made me lick it, saved my grandfather's life, and the Su Wan I hold dearly in my hands. Yet they can't wait for my grandfather to die early. How ironic. Watching over Grandpa's peaceful sleeping face, I clench my fist. Dignity shattered. Love turned into a joke. Then I'll just sell every last bone in my body. Selling it to Lu Ruyan at least could save Grandpa's life. I'm going back to the company to resign. Wang Chong definitely won't let me off. Better to take the initiative and walk away. But as soon as I stepped into the office area, the atmosphere fell off. My colleagues were staring at me with strange and disdainful looks. Whispering suggests he has sticky fingers. He looks quite honest, but I heard he even leaked trade secrets. I walked back to my workstation with a frown, only to find all the belongings scattered in the hallway. Wang Chong stood there with thick gauze wrapped around his head, looking like a mummy. Su Wanwan held onto her arm, her face swollen yet caked with heavy powder. With a gentle and delicate demeanor, she was followed by her close circle of girlfriends. In the early morning, "How dare you show your face back here?" Wang Chong roared at me on the spot. Catching the attention of the crowd, everyone could clearly see that it was this person. Poor work attitude, theft of public and private property. Still want to sell customer information to competitors. Today I officially fired him, and I will also blacklist him from the entire industry. You're talking bullshit. I'm shaking with anger. Wang Chong, you're using your position to settle personal scores. Don't you have a clear conscience about what you've done? Wang Chong sneered and threw the dismissal letter right in my face. The evidence is conclusive. Security, throw this garbage out. Su Wanwan interjected sarcastically. Ling Chun, just admit it. Not only are they poor, but they also have sticky fingers. It's a good thing I saw your true colors early and broke up with you. Her close friends chimed in as well. Such a lovely Wanwan, and you almost ruined her. You deserve to be poor for the rest of your life. I looked at those hideous faces, feeling utterly defenseless and unable to argue. Is this what power is? Turning black into white. Turning the victim into the perpetrator. Wang Chong swaggered over and patted my face with his uninjured hand. Lower your voice, kid. You think you can mess with me? Killing you would be as easy as crushing an ant. Not only will I fire you, but I'll also make sure you can't survive in this city. Let your grandfather wait for death in his coffin. I clenched my fists so tightly that my nails dug into my palms, drawing blood. Just about to act out of sheer desperation. A woman's voice, clear and cold, yet carrying supreme authority, echoed from the elevator entrance. Is it? The voice was not loud, yet it instantly plunged the bustling office area into dead silence. The private elevator door opened, and Lu Rian stepped out wearing a custom-made black suit, walking in 10-centimeter high heels with red soles. She walks with the commanding presence of a queen patrolling her domain, each step stirring the air with authority, followed by a group of senior executives. Even the general manager was following meekly behind. Wang Chong's chubby face instantly broke into a wide smile at the sight of Lu Rian, bowing and nodding eagerly. Manager Lu, what brings you here? I'll handle this little matter. He is an employee with sticky fingers. Lu Rian didn't even spare him a glance. Walk straight to me, looking at the red mark and disheveled appearance on my face. Frowning slightly, she reached out her hand the next moment, gently straightened my messy tie for me. Patting the dust off my shoulder, she said softly, "You must have been exhausted last night. Didn't I tell you to sleep a bit longer? Why did you come out so early?" This remark struck the audience like a thunderclap. Su Wanwan widened her eyes. Wang Chong was so shocked that his mouth hung wide open. I looked at Lu Ruyan and understood the cunning in her eyes. She's backing me up. Lu Ruyan turned around, the tenderness on her face instantly freezing over. Looking at Wang Chong, my gaze locked onto the hand that had slapped my face. Which hand touched him? Wang Chong trembled with fear, his cold sweat soaking through the gauze. General Manager Lu, please hear me out. This young man, he... Slap. A crisp sound of a slap echoed through the floor. Lu Ruyan slapped him backhandedly. Wang Chong, weighing 180 Jin, was slapped so hard that he spun halfway around on the spot, heavily slammed to the ground. Several bloodied teeth flew out. You dare to touch someone who belongs to me? Her voice was icy and piercing, devoid of any warmth. Lu Ruyan looked down disdainfully at Wang Chong, who lay motionless like a dead pig. Taking a wet wipe from the assistant beside me, she wiped her hands disdainfully, as if touching something filthy. Also, you mentioned that in this company, you're the sky. Lu Rian threw the wet wipe onto Wang Chang's face. Then what am I? The general manager finally reacted at this moment. Ashen with fear, he rushed up and delivered a series of fierce kicks at Wang Chang. Wang Chang, you despicable scoundrel. How dare you show disrespect to someone under Mr. Lu's protection? If you want to die, don't drag me into it. Wang Chang was beaten so badly that he could only moan, unable to even utter a word of begging for mercy. Lu Rian waved her hand, signaling the general manager to stop. Her gaze swept across the room. It finally fell on Su Wanwan. Su Wanwan was utterly terrified at that moment, hiding behind the crowd, trembling with fear. Lu Rian lifted her chin in a slight nod. Su Wanwan's legs went weak, and she almost collapsed to the ground, dragged out by two security guards. Lu Rian looked her up and down. The corners of the mouth curled into a mocking arc. You just looked down on my man for being poor, being the mistress of this fat pig just for a Hermes. Su Wanwan's face was as pale as a sheet of paper, shaking head vigorously. No, it's not. Mr. Lu has misunderstood. I am the ex-girlfriend of Ling Chun. I interrupted her coldly. Su Wanwan, have some self-respect. Lu Rian smiled, a smile that was utterly enchanting. Did you hear that, ex-girlfriend? She turned to face the legal director behind her. Check Wang Chang's account. He just said the secrets were leaked in the early morning. I think this kind of charade of a thief crying "Stop thief" is quite something. Usually means he has something to hide. The legal director immediately nodded. Mr. Lu, in fact, we've had the information for quite some time now. Wang Chang embezzled public funds and accepted kickbacks, and by taking advantage of their positions, evidence of sexual harassment against female subordinates. It's just waiting for your signature to be handed over to the police. Wang Chang on the ground heard this. Her eyes rolled back, and she immediately fainted from fright. As for this Miss Su, Lu Rian's eyes sparkled with mischief. Since you like the Anya family, then go and investigate those gifts he received. Does it involve illicit funds? If so, it must be recovered. It must also be investigated as an accomplice. Su Wanwan completely broke down, rushing towards me while crying uncontrollably. Midnight, save me. I love you. I was momentarily tempted by the devil. Please forgive me just this once. I stared at his contorted face. There is no longer a ripple in my heart. At Lu Rian's command, the security guard dragged him like a dead dog, dragged the two out. The farce came to an abrupt end under the Queen's swift and decisive action. Lu Rian turned around and once again looked at me, in front of hundreds of people from the entire company, held onto my arm. Effective immediately, as of today, I have been promoted to the executive assistant to the president. Report directly to me. She leaned close to my ear, in a voice only the two of us could hear. Charmingly said, how about that? Does that feel satisfying, getting it off your chest? Good doggy. Wang Chang has been taken into custody. It is said the sentence was very severe. It will take at least 8 to 10 years to get out. Although Su Wanwan did not go to prison, but because it involves illicit funds, all her designer bags, clothes, and jewelry were confiscated and ended up in debt. More importantly, her reputation in the industry has been completely ruined. I lost my original job, can't find a new job either, and I became Lu Rian's personal assistant. Well, assistant in name, but it feels more like her personal possession. During the day, I wear an expensive suit, following her in and out of various high-end venues, help her with documents, and block the drinks for her. Even just being a mere decorative vase, demonstrate her ownership, returning to the luxurious villa that felt like a cage in the evening. I have to take off my disguise, wearing the collar to fulfill my duty. Although the body is very tired, but my grandfather's illness has gotten better. The old professor's surgery was very successful. Grandpa has been transferred to an advanced nursing home, attended to by dedicated staff every day, glowing with health. Every time I visit, Grandpa always held my hand and said, Xiao Chun, the leadership at our company has been so good to us. You really should repay Miss Lu properly. I nodded with a smile, but inwardly, he felt a deep bitterness. Repay him? I've already sold myself to him body and soul. That day, I accompanied Lu Rian to a charity gala. Just as I got out of the car, a disheveled figure rushed towards me. Blocked firmly by the bodyguard was Su Wanwan. It's only been half a month since we last saw each other. She looked as if she had aged 10 years. The hair is dry, yellow, and disheveled. wearing knockoff clothes. The delicate makeup on the face was also gone, looking utterly haggard. Ling Chun, Ling Chun, she cried out, trying to break through the line of bodyguards. I want to see you. I have something to tell you. Lu Rian stopped walking. He gave me a glance that was neither a smile nor a smirk. Your old flame is here. Don't you want to catch up? I didn't even glance at Su Wanwan. I don't know them. Send them away. How could you be so heartless in the wee hours of the morning? Su Wanwan heard what I said, cried even harder. I know I was wrong. I truly acknowledge my mistake. I used to be immature. I just found out now. In this world, only you treat me the best. Wang Chong is a complete beast. It's the wee hours, and it's been 3 years of feelings between us. Have you really forgotten? In your sophomore year, you had a fever. I went to buy fever medicine for you. I injured my leg climbing over the wall in the rain late at night. Have you forgotten everything? He began to appeal to emotions, trying to jog my memory. The surrounding journalists and guests turned to look, whispering among themselves. I take a deep breath, walked up to him, watching him coldly through the bodyguards. Su Wanwan, don't mention those 3 years. It turns my stomach every time I think about it. The silly boy who bought you medicine in the rain is already dead. And now, I'm doing very well. I have money and status. I have a boss who loves me. Su Wanwan was taken aback. She stared at me blankly. A custom-made suit worth hundreds of thousands. Looking at my Patek Philippe on my wrist. That was a gift Lu Rian casually gave me yesterday. Jealousy, regret, and resentment. A myriad of emotions flickered in his eyes, finally transforming into a twisted and venomous resentment. His gaze went past me, staring intently at someone standing not far away. Brilliant Lu Rian. Is it because of him? Su Wanwan suddenly screamed. The sound is piercingly shrill. It's because of this seductress. Because he has money. You're just a shallow person who scorns the poor and fawns over the rich, even in the early hours. You disgust me for being a gigolo just for money. I slapped Su Wanwan across the face. Interrupted her gossip. You can scold me, but you have no right to criticize him. At this moment, I surprisingly reacted instinctively, maintaining Lu Rian, not only because it is my home, especially because even such a distorted relationship, he truly saved me. Grandpa has given me dignity in front of others, while Su Wanwan only knew how to take and betray, never gave me anything. Su Wanwan covered her face, looking at me with disbelief. I turned around and never looked back. Lu Rian stood on the step, waiting for me. Seeing me approach, he smiled contentedly. He reached out and straightened my collar for me. In front of all the cameras, planted a kiss on my lips. Good job. Here's your reward. I saw Su Wanwan being dragged away not far off. The overwhelming hatred in the eyes, like a venomous snake that sends a chill down one's spine. But I never expected this hatred to run so deep. What madness would be unleashed? Su Wanwan has completely gone mad. Slapped in front of everyone. Watching you and Lu Rian come and go together. Her mental state has developed serious problems. Those fake friends around her. Not someone to be trifled with. Not only did he not persuade her. Instead, they are fanning the flames on the side. Wanwan, look at how glorious Lingchen is now. That should have been your blessing. It must be that woman, Lu Rian, who used some kind of sorcery. Or perhaps he put a curse on Lingchen. As long as that woman is dead, I'm sure you'll change your mind by dawn. After all, you two are the real soulmates. The president is just toying with her. These words are like a magic spell, tormenting Su Wanwan day and night. The already twisted nerves. She started following us. At first, I was just watching from a distance. Then they became more and more audacious. Several times, I have felt there is a pair of sinister eyes watching us from the shadows. But I didn't pay much attention to it. After all, the security measures around Lu Rian, always top-notch. Until that stormy night. Lu Rian had some wine tonight. Seems to be in a bad mood. He dismissed his driver and bodyguards. He insisted that I drive him for a spin down to the riverside. He leaned back in the passenger seat, rubbing his temples with a weary expression. I know there's a major project at the company these days. He is under a lot of pressure. The car is parked in the underground parking lot by the river. This place is very remote with dim lighting. Only the sound of rain pattering against the car window. At dawn, Lu Rian suddenly spoke. The voice is somewhat low. If one day I go bankrupt and have nothing left, will you leave me? I paused for a moment, about to reply. Suddenly, there was a sound from the back seat. I suddenly turned around, my pupils contracting sharply. A disheveled, drenched black shadow. I don't know when it got hidden under the foot mat in the back seat. It is now suddenly surging upward, holding a gleaming fruit knife in hand. Go to hell, give it back to me, it's Su Wanwan's. She didn't know how she managed to get past the security check. Hidden in this car. That blade thrust straight towards Lu Rian's neck. Don't make me yell out loud. Want to rush over and block the knife. But the seatbelt restricted my movements. It was too close to react in time. At the critical moment, Lu Rian displayed an incredibly terrifying reaction speed. After all, he has trained in combat for many years. Even after drinking, the body's instincts remain intact. At the very moment the blade was about to pierce his throat, he jerked his head to one side, simultaneously raised the left arm to block. With a sharp tear, the blade sliced through the sleeve of the suit. He made a cut on Lu Rian's arm. A deep, bone-exposing gash. Blood gushed out instantly. Su Wanwan's failed strike only fueled her frenzy, waving the knife wildly with both hands. Kill you, kill you. It's almost midnight. It's mine now. Go to hell. The cramped carriage turned into a life-and-death battlefield. Lu Rian was also provoked to anger. He ignored the intense pain in his arm. His eyes became fiercer than that of a beast. She grabbed Su Wanwan's wrist holding the knife and twisted it violently. A distinct crack of bone breaking was clearly audible. Su Wanwan let out a piercing scream. The knife slipped from my hand, but I didn't expect where the knife would land. Exactly between the driver's seat and the passenger seat. The knife tip is pointing upward in the gap of the center armrest. Lu Rian twisted her hand to clamp down on Su Wanwan's neck. Want to subdue her? The two were locked in a fierce struggle. The whole car body is shaking. Su Wanwan struggled desperately due to pain and madness. The body lunged forward abruptly, wanting to bite Lu Rian. Lu Rian instinctively sidestepped to dodge, gave him a push in the direction he was headed. This push was originally meant to create some distance, but Su Wanwan lost her balance. The whole person uncontrollably tumbled forward. A sickening crunch sounded with a muffled thud. The carriage fell silent instantly. Su Wanwan widened her eyes. His body was rigidly slumped over the center console. That upright fruit knife. Precisely into his abdomen. Blood quickly stained the genuine leather seat, flowing from the wound. At dawn, Su Wanwan turned her head to look at me with difficulty. Blood froth gushed from the mouth. The madness in their eyes gradually faded away. It ultimately turned into a sense of bewilderment and fear. I just want to go back to the past. His hand reached out to me. It trembled twice in midair. Finally, it hung down powerlessly. The pupils are dilated, deceased. Thunder roared outside the car, and rain poured down in torrents. The smell of blood inside the car was so strong it made people sick. I stared blankly at this scene. My mind went blank. The girl who once shared instant noodles with me and bought me medicine. The woman who later betrayed and humiliated me. Just died right in front of me. A cold hand rested on the back of mine. Lu Rian's face turned pale, clutching his still bleeding arm. The voice, however, was unusually calm. Don't be afraid. He took out his phone and dialed the emergency number. Hello, I need to report a crime. Someone is attacking people with a knife. I acted in self-defense, and the other person is already dead. After hanging up the phone, he looked at me. A flicker of intricate emotion passed through the eyes. In the early morning, would you blame me? I looked at the wound on her arm. That's because I got hurt. Let's take another look at the deceased Su Wanwan. I take a deep breath. Unfasten the seatbelt. Tear off his shirt. Tightly clutching her wound. Don't blame me. Said to be that he is mad. The world has gone mad as well. The police quickly arrived at the scene. Review surveillance footage, as well as the wound on Lu Rian's arm. The chain of evidence is complete in every aspect. Su Wanwan committed intentional murder, while Lu Rian acted in self-defense. Although it resulted in death, but not criminally liable. Su Wanwan's parents have come to make a scene several times, but in the face of Lu Rian's formidable legal team, in the end, they could only receive a sum of humanitarian compensation. Slunk away. Those instigating girlfriends. They also faced legal sanctions for the crime of incitement. As for Wang Chong, who is still in prison, Lu Rian had someone bring Wang Chong over. Not only engaged in corruption, but also embezzled a huge sum of money from a certain gangster boss, framing someone else for something. Leaked to the big shot's underling who is serving time in the same prison. A month later, news came from the prison. Wang Chong slipped and fell in a bathroom accident. Severe concussion resulting in a vegetative state. He will spend the rest of his life in a prison hospital bed. All is settled. Grandpa has fully recovered. Lu Rian arranged for her to spend her twilight years in the best nursing home. The fees have been prepaid for 20 years. And I still remain by Lu Rian's side. It's just that there have been some subtle changes in our relationship. That night in the master bedroom of the villa, Lu Rian's arm just had the stitches removed, left a hideous scar. She looked at the scar in the mirror and frowned slightly. I walked up behind her, gently embraced her from behind. A kiss landed on the scar. Lu Rian gave a slight shiver. Turn around and look at me. Her gaze is no longer as it was at the beginning, full of tyranny and a desire for conquest, but rather it brings an added sense of reliance and trust. In the early morning, the contract ended. He suddenly said, I have already paid for Grandpa's medical bills. You've helped me avoid quite a few troubles as well. If you want to leave, I won't stop you. I can give you some money. Enough for you to start a business and live a decent life. I was stunned, free. This is what I once dreamed of. Leaving here, I can start over. Find an ordinary job. Find an ordinary girl. Live out an ordinary life. But as I look at this woman in front of me, this is the one who once poured red wine on my foot to humiliate me. The woman who has helped me countless times. This exterior is as cold and hard as iron. Yet deep down, there is an extreme lack of security. Even a somewhat Yandera woman. I suddenly realized, I can't live without her anymore. Or maybe I've gotten used to it. This love that comes with pain. It's pouring rain outside again. Just like that first night I was here. I did not speak. Instead, she turned and walked to the bedside table, pulling open the drawer. Took out that black collar. Lu Rian's pupils contracted slightly. Breathing grew rapid. I walked up to her and knelt down on one knee. This time, no one forced me. I knelt down myself, Mr. Lu, like smoke. I raised my head and looked into his eyes. Eyes captivating enough to enchant all mortals. The outside world is too filthy. Only your cage is clean. I'm not going anywhere. Lu Rian smiled. That smile was bewitchingly beautiful. With a sense of satisfaction that the prey has finally been completely captured, she extended her injured hand. Take the collar from my hand. Click. The cold click of metal fastening. In the quiet room, a sound arose. It is a bond and a pledge. Since you chose it yourself, you'll never be able to escape in this lifetime. He picked up the red wine on the table, just like that night. Slowly poured a cup. It was just that this time, he took a sip. Then he leaned down and kissed me on the lips. The red wine flows between our lips and teeth, rich and sweet, with a hint of intoxicating scent of blood. As you wish, my master.